All right, let's dive into one of the all-time greats, Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. Now, on the surface, it sounds pretty straightforward, right? You've got an old fisherman, a huge fish, and one epic fight. But as with all Hemingway, what's really going on is so much deeper. We're talking about dignity, grit, and what it really means to be human. So, let's get into it.
The whole story kicks off with just a number, 84. Not a year, not an address, just 84. That's how many days the old man, Santiago, has gone without catching a single fish. Just think about that for a second. That's almost 3 months. In his village, that number isn't just a fact. It's a heavy, heavy weight. It's the official count of his failure.
And it's not like people are just saying, oh, he's having a bad streak. No, it's much worse than that. He's been branded. Salao. It means he's the worst kind of unlucky, like fundamentally and permanently unlucky. It's a label they've slapped on him, and suddenly this isn't just about fishing. It's about his entire identity being wrapped up in what he can't do.
So you'd think he'd be crushed, right? With the whole village whispering about him and his boat coming back empty every single day. But here's the thing about Santiago. He is not a man who gives in to despair. And this is where we really start to see who he is, this quiet, stubborn hope he carries around. Hemingway paints this incredible picture of him, this huge contrast playing out in one person. I mean, look at him. His body tells the story of a long, brutal life. It's scarred, it's worn out, it's old. But his eyes, man, his eyes are a whole different story. They're described as being the same color as the sea, cheerful and undefeated. Inside, the fight is still there. So where does this hope come from? Well, it all comes down to a kid named Manolin. Now, the boy's parents, they've told him he can't fish with the unlucky old man anymore. But the boy doesn't care. His faith in Santiago is unshakable, and it's their connection, their shared belief that tomorrow is the day, that acts like a fresh breeze, reigniting Santiago's own confidence.
And that brings us to day 85. Santiago gets in his little boat, all alone, and just starts rowing. And he doesn't stop. He goes way, way out past where anyone else fishes, deep into the Gulf Stream. He's not just hoping for a couple of fish today. No, he's hunting for a legend. He's looking for the one catch that will prove everyone wrong.
And this right here, this is basically Santiago's life philosophy. He gets it. Luck is great, but you can't count on it. What you can count on is your skill, your precision. You can be exact. You can be prepared. And that's what he does. He sets his lines perfectly, meticulously, so that if and when luck finally shows up, he'll be ready for it.
And then it happens. It's not some crazy, violent yank on the line. It's just a soft, almost polite little tug. But Santiago knows, way down in the dark, 100 fathoms deep, that's 600 feet, something huge is just taking the bait. And just like that, the real fight begins. Okay, so this is where the story really digs in, the struggle itself. And let me tell you, this is not some quick reel-em-in job. No way. This is a brutal war of endurance that stretches over days. The fish is so powerful, it's actually pulling him and his little boat further and further out to sea, into this isolated world where it's just the old man and the giant fish.
As the hours turn into days, you can just feel his isolation. He keeps saying this to himself over and over. I wish I had the boy. And it's not just because he needs an extra pair of hands to pull the rope. It's a deep, painful loneliness. It's him against this massive, silent creature, and he is completely and utterly alone.
And if battling a giant fish in the middle of the ocean wasn't enough, he suddenly finds himself fighting a war on two fronts. Because his own body, well, it starts to betray him. His strength starts to fade, and his left hand, which he complains about throughout the book, decides to cramp up into a tight, useless claw.
I mean, just look at this matchup. It's almost absurd. On one side, you have this force of nature, a Marlin so strong it can pull a boat for days with seemingly endless stamina. And on the other side, you have Santiago. The rope is literally cutting into his back, his hand is quit on him, and he hasn't slept in 2 days. It's an impossible fight.
But this is where things get really interesting. Through all this pain and exhaustion, he's not angry at the fish. Not at all. He actually starts to respect it, even love it. He calls the fish his brother. It's this beautiful, strange bond. He knows that one of them has to lose, but there's a deep nobility in the struggle between them.
So for 2 whole days, this fish has just been an idea, right? A powerful, invisible weight at the end of a line. Santiago has only felt its strength. He hasn't seen it. But then, on day 3, it happens. The great fish breaks the surface of the water.
And wow, just wow. The sight is absolutely breathtaking. This magnificent creature shining in the sun, and it's impossibly huge. We're talking about a fish that is literally 2 feet longer than Santiago's entire boat. Can you even imagine that? In that moment, he knows he's hooked a true legend.
Seeing the fish, it does something to him. It gives him this last surge of adrenaline, this final burst of energy. He knows the end is close. And this is the climax of the whole ordeal, a moment where winning and losing feel like the exact same thing. He summons everything he has left, every last bit of strength and pride, and he pulls the tired Marlin in close. He lifts his harpoon, and with one last monumental effort, he drives it deep into the fish's heart. The great struggle is over.
And it's over. But there's no celebration, no fist pump, just a deep, crushing exhaustion and, weirdly, sadness. He did it. He won. But he also just killed this incredible creature he'd come to call his brother. The fight was the noble part. Now comes what he calls the slave work.
And just to put this into perspective, Santiago figures the Marlin weighs more than 1,500 pounds. 1,500 pounds. This wasn't just a fish. This was the catch of a lifetime. This was his proof, his vindication, right there. But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. He can't get the massive fish in the boat, so he ties it to the side and starts the long journey home. The problem? That incredible victory came at a price. And that price is a trail of blood in the water that's basically a dinner bell for every shark in the Gulf Stream.
And the sharks, man, they don't wait long. It is absolutely relentless. He's only been sailing for an hour before the first one hits, then 2 more. By sunset, it's a whole pack. It's just one wave after another. It's brutal.
And he fights. Oh, you better believe he fights. He fights with everything he has, but his weapons are taken from him, one by one. He loses the harpoon, killing the first shark. He breaks his knife on another. Soon, all he's got left is a club made from a broken tiller. It's just him and a stick against the ocean. He fights until he has absolutely nothing left to fight with. And when he finally makes it back to the harbor, he's physically destroyed. And his prize, his magnificent fish, has been stripped clean down to the bone. And this is the heart of the entire book. He may have been destroyed, but he was not defeated.
So he lost the fish, right? He comes back with literally nothing but a giant skeleton. But when the other fishermen see that skeleton in the morning, they're in awe. And when the boy, Manolin, sees Santiago's wrecked hands, he just weeps and promises he'll fish with him forever, no matter what. So Santiago lost his prize, for sure. But in that struggle, he found his dignity again. And that's the question Hemingway leaves us with. What does it actually mean to win?